Joining me now, Congressman Matt Cartwright of Pennsylvania. Congressman, thanks so much for being with me.
My pleasure, Karen. How are you today?
So, Congressman, it strikes me, I think it's important, we've been talking a lot about the possibility of a shutdown and continuing resolutions and what have you, but I think it's important to remind people that we're at this point because Republicans want to repeal, or now they're saying at least delay for a year, which I think is probably, not quite what they're really looking for, over health care, over providing health care for millions of Americans who are already in the system and millions of Americans who stand to benefit from the system. I mean, essentially, that's what we're talking about here, right?
Well, it is, and we're not learning anything new in this process, Karen. We're here on the weekend, and I understood when I put in for this job there are going to be some late nights and some weekends. But it's aggravating because we're here not learning anything new. We're here because a certain faction of the Republican conference are throwing a temper tantrum because they didn't get their way. And by the way, what did Rush Limbaugh call you, Karen?
I think he called me an MSNBC info babe. I'll take that. I've been called worse.
Me too. But, it's aggravating that we have to be here for no good reason. My son, Jack Cartwright, turns 21. He's having his birthday party at home in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'd like to be there for that. I understand we're going to have sacrifices to do this kind of work, but when all it is a small faction of the Republican conference throwing a temper tantrum because they didn't get their way, this is crazy.
Well, and Congressman, how do you feel about the fact that so much time, as you say, you're there on the weekend in an exercise that we know pretty much how this is going to shake out. You have 42 votes to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which is not going to do anything. So much time in this Republican-led House has been wasted on show votes and making ideological statements rather than, how about jobs? How about the economy?
Right. And we already know that the Republicans don't want to cover people with pre-existing medical conditions. We understand that they don't care about closing the Medicare Part D donut hole. We get that they don't give a hoot about covering women for preventative health care treatments. We understand all that. We've heard it over and over again. They fought to prevent passing. That didn't work.
Right.
They took it to court. That didn't work. Now they repealed it over 40 times. That hasn't worked. They tried their darndest not to re-elect President Obama. That didn't work either. We get it. But at some point, you've got to stop arguing, realize it's time to move on.
Congressman, so what do you expect? We understand that a vote may start at any time. What do you expect over the next several hours?
Well, what we're hearing is that it's House Joint Resolution 59, Karen. And this is the continuing resolution. It's come back from the Senate. The idea now is that they're going to amend it, and with the amendment, they're going to repeal the medical device tax. Now, the medical device tax, it's interesting because there is for discussion about the medical device tax, but Karen, not in these circumstances, not when they've got us over a barrel. There's so many Americans that would suffer, and it's so stupid because it's been proven that a shutdown costs American taxpayers money. You would think it would save us money, but in the 95, 96 shutdowns, in today's dollars, those two shutdowns cost about $2 billion.
Right.
So you end up, because of all the furlough notices you have to mail out, all of the prep work you have to do, a lot of the administrative stuff that goes on, you end up losing an awful lot of money from stopping and starting government.
Well, and there are real costs to real Americans as well. So let's hope we don't get to that point, although it seems like we are headed that way. Thank you, Congressman Cartwright, and happy birthday to your son.
Yes, happy birthday, Jack.
For more on what